Hello, everybody. Welcome to the iFox the Juice podcast. I'm your host, Juice. I'm here with my co-host, Reen, and I'm just here trying not to burn once again. Southern California always seems to be burning nowadays, and I'm just here trying to stay alive. But anyway, how are you doing, Reen?
Jesus, are you okay?
Yeah, but shit, it's nothing like 2 weeks ago. That was a bad one. It was a bad one. Yeah, I think we recorded the podcast, and the next day I was very scared of getting evacuated, but luckily I've been all right. These are not as close as that one was, but they're still all around me.
Oh, so crazy that it's happening. Oh, I thought we were going to avoid it for a while there, but guess not.
What, fires?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know you get a lot of bad ones up there too, and I think when we first started the show, we're almost a year now in. Um, I think we were both suffering fires right around that time, and you had paradise and all that stuff around here, but definitely feels like it's been worse on this end at this time of year. Enough with the cold open. Let's start talking about MMA stuff. We got some stuff to cover. So let's just get into it, why don't we? Start with our review, our UFC rewind of UFC Boston. And we covered the Deron Win fight, and he lost. We're talking about that. I believe we both picked Deron Win to win that one, and Darren Stewart really took it to him. The weight cut seemed to affect him, and yeah, Darren Stewart is not to be fucked with, and he showed him what's up. How did you feel, Ryan? I know you're a big fan of this dude. How'd that sting?
It's hard to watch. I mean, he was definitely capitalizing on taking Darren Stewart to the ground. But man, Stewart, he was even fighting, from his back. It's just crazy. And then once he got on his feet, back up again, he's just getting pieced up. Wayne was just getting pieced up. So yeah, it was hard to watch, man. There's that size difference too.
Not bad for a Brit, huh? With his
Yeah,
wrestling.
yeah, not too bad. I mean, I think he even said that he should work on it a little bit more. But yeah, it's tough, man. It was a good fight though.
Did you think he was
Definitely.
gonna win? Like watching the fight as it was playing out, did you think win would win?
It was no, not really.
Yeah, I
Just
mean either.
watching it. Yeah, it looked bad.
What's weird is that it seemed. Well, I don't want to say people thought that it was close because by the commentary it sounded like it was close, and I was kind of like, DC, I think you're backing your dude a little too strong here, and then it was weird too because Dominic Cruz was also on commentary and Jeremy Stevens was fighting later on. We'll talk about that in a bit, but yeah, they were definitely backing their dudes, and that seems a little weird to me. Conflict of interest type shit, you know?
Yeah, well, it was not Wynn's fight, and whatever happened with this weight cut, I don't know if that had an issue with it, but it's still, uh, he needs to evolve. Just definitely with just that size difference, you're starting to see it.
Yeah.
So maybe he needs to work on his grappling, like jiu-jitsu a little bit more, set up submission opportunities because it's going to be harder and harder trying to look for knockout opportunities. He has several knockouts on his record. So yeah, no, you can't rely on that technique anymore.
Yep.
Not at this level.
Yep. You're right about that. Nice observation there. Next up, we're gonna talk about my favorite fighter ever, Macy Barber. Um, so I guess there's been a lot of talk about her as of late. She continued with the Paige Van Zandt stuff, and yeah, it seemed like she got a lot of attention before the fight, a lot of attention after the fight. I guess I'll say deservedly so. I mean, she did have a good performance, got a first round TKO. Jillian Robertson was made to order. I mean, this was a fight. Jillian Robertson was an easier fight for her, and at this point now, than JJ Aldrich was even before. So seems like they gave her a hard fight, and now they followed it up with an easier fight. And I say this with all due respect to Jillian Robertson because I really do like her, but it was just a bad matchup, and I think the way it ended showed that.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you go back and look at the fight again, like Macy was reading all of her movements. Like she was, Jillian was setting up her hands to try to take that, take her down. She was looking for that single leg and try to take her down, but she couldn't, and she was getting pieced up. She was taking a lot of damage trying to come in. But yeah, there was that one time that she pulled guard, and when she did pull guard and took Macy to the ground, she still couldn't do anything. Macy was just way too strong for her.
Yeah,
She got up. She was able to get up. Uh, she was against the cage. She was fighting Jillian on the cage and just completely powering her. So good for Macy, man. She's fucking strong as shit. Knocked her out. Well, not knocked her out, but yeah, the
it
ref
was a weird
definitely
it was a
saved
weird
her.
stoppage. I wasn't opposed to it, but it was definitely a weird time to stop it. Like could have stopped it a second earlier, maybe a second or two later, but you chose to stop it at like the one time where it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
But
definitely saved her. I mean, those elbows were, whew.
it's a yeah, the whole stoppage thing was a moot point. Um, Here's the thing and I'm totally speculating here. I have no proof of
Hmm.
this. Macy did make a point. I don't know if I just kind of found it funny. She's like, oh, give props to Jillian. She's a warrior, and she played the game. She's not like these other girls. She was trying to make the fight interesting, talking trash. I don't know. I found that I've never heard a fighter say that. Like it just I don't know. I guess because of my distaste for Barbara, I was just kind of like, really, gonna give a girl props just because she was playing along with your bullshit. But anyway, on a serious note, yeah, Barber is as I mentioned last week, I was supposed to write an article about her and didn't get the chance. But I did study a good amount of her tape, and yeah, she's clearly a good fighter. That's never really been in dispute. It was just a question of how good. And this fight, to me, it doesn't really answer any more questions than I already had, and I didn't see much in the way of improvement. But the one thing I gotta say is I think girls, I think women in this division really need to take notice of her. I feel like Jillian didn't really take Barbara all that seriously from some of the things she said. Like she was annoyed with her, and there's nothing wrong with being annoyed by her. That's kind of her thing. She tries to annoy you, but you need to take her seriously. As I mentioned last week, she has her limitations. There's definitely ways to beat her, but I believe girls in the top 10 should, people tell you to not go backwards, but the rankings, sometimes you just got to say fucking, you got to go for it. It's basically what Macy's doing with Paige Van Zant, but girls got to say like, well, everyone's thinking she's hot shit. The UFC's giving her this real push. I want to be the one to end the hype. I want to fight her. And right now, she may be the most popular fighter at that weight class aside from Valentina. So I don't see the damage it would do other fighters to go back and fight her because you can end her right now because it's only going to get harder if you prolong on this one.
So you think the UFC is pushing Paige?
No, Barber.
Oh, Barbara thinks that.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course, I think, yeah, she had like a 40-minute interview with Brandon Fitzgerald on YouTube. Like, I don't remember the only time I've ever seen that happen is like when you're like a main event of a pay per view, Nate Diaz and DC and Khabib and Masvidal, those guys are the ones that get that type of treatment. She's not even on the co-main event of this card, and they were giving her that.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact they're pushing her, and it's that's the one thing I just on
Oh,
a
pushing Macy. Pushing
Macy.
Macy. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. No, I was talking about Paige. Like, huh?
no, Paige is well. That's what I was about to say right now. Paige is a funny story because one of the things I can't stand. This is just a pet peeve of mine right now with Macy. She's pulling that the UFC newbie move of, oh, I'm gonna beat this person up for you, Mr. White. And that's what she's saying with Paige. And like, I don't know if it's just shit talk or she genuinely believes it, but she's like mad at Paige because in her mind she sucks, And since the UFC was like investing in her, she shouldn't suck. Like she should have got better. Did
That
you
makes
you
sense.
heard you heard this, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
It's fucking ridiculous, man. Like, why do you give a shit? If she sucks, she sucks. And just leave her be. She doesn't want to fight, or she's just not that interested in fighting. Then who gives a shit? It doesn't affect you. It's like, no, they invested all this time and had all these high expectations of her, and she didn't. She said she didn't live up to her end. She didn't, she didn't.
But she's been hurt too, though. Like, does she not realize like she broke her hand again or her arm
Her
again?
arm.
Yeah, it's been broken twice now, so it's not like completely Paige's, her fault. And yeah, she's become this quote unquote like Instagram model. She's just trying to make ends meet. I mean, she would probably do the same thing too.
I
She's
I
getting paid more to sit out and just rest up on her injuries, and that's why I didn't understand like why the hard on for Paige so much. Like, do you not understand? Yeah, the UFC they were pushing her, but she ended up getting injured, and that's when they're like, okay, you're on the back burner. We don't know when you're gonna come back. And then the last fight she had, wasn't it with Rachel? It was Rachel, right?
This is a man. I kind of hate that you just said that right now because I was just about to ask why hasn't Macy called out Rachel Ostovich?
I don't know.
If
I
you
mean,
want to talk about all this shit with Paige, you can say all that shit about Ostovich,
yeah, it's true.
all that and then some. Because Paige Van Zandt's a better fighter than Rachel Ostovich. I mean, they fought and obviously she showed that by winning, but I believe Paige is younger. She's been in it longer, and she's had some good wins, some bad losses, but she's shown improvement. I think you want to talk about not showing improvement, go the Rachel Ostovich route. And if she'd originally called out Mackenzie Dern, even in LFA, which I do remember that, so she's done this for a while. So I guess props to her that she's kept up with it. And then she got pregnant, so she started going after Paige. I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at that. Then she
Mm-hmm.
got in the DMs and got all crazy and shit. But it's like, if you're going after these girls because they have a big Instagram uh following and they're big online and stuff, go after Rachel. If you want to talk
That's
about
true.
easy fights too, fucking go for it.
That's true.
And I
Yeah.
wonder if she thinks that people will hate her because like aside from it seems like us, Rachel's universally loved. So if she beats up the pretty girl, people are gonna hate her because you beat up the quote hottest girl in the UFC or whatever.
I don't know what their game plan is on why they keep going after Paige though. Like because like like I said, she had the injury. She's out of the spotlight right now. I don't even think she's ranked. So I just don't understand this game plan. She's not really even a name right now. So it's she would I don't know. It's great to have that on the back burner if you want to play the Conor McGregor role, go for it. But if she has this goal set, then why not? I think she just cracked the top 10. So why not go after somebody in the top 10? Why wouldn't anybody call her out too and just take her out right now? I
Yeah,
was thinking that too. I mean, we talked about that offline, but I was thinking about that too. Like she's in the top 10 now.
yeah, and even some of these girls like weirdly enough, I just saw right before we went on air, KGB is well she didn't call out Paige, but Paige put a thing like, oh, who wants to be my next fight, and KGB's like me. And I wonder if this is almost like a concerted effort on their part to be like, we really don't want Barber to fight this girl, like fucking anybody, but we don't want Barber to get the shine.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Roxanne, I wonder how she would fare. Like
Modafferi?
yeah, I think like she's number 7 or something. But
Yeah.
Barbara, again, talking about chasing Paige if she goes to 115 too. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Like you have all these great fighters ahead of you. You didn't take any damage. Call somebody else out too.
Roxy might be a good fight too, and I don't know who would win that fight. To be fair, I know it's easy to say Barber, but Roxy beat KGB early on. Roxy beat Sarah Deleuze. She's beat a lot of people that she wasn't supposed to beat, and her striking's gotten a lot better. And she's still really awkward. Even the fact that she used a lot of grappling in her fight, but the fact that even KGB couldn't get a beat on her in the striking against Roxy. It's like, yeah, that's definitely a good test. Obviously, Roxy's not the calling out type. She's not gonna do that. And then, to be honest, I don't know if she'd even take that fight or want that fight because Macy has missed weight on several occasions or has had a tough time making weight. And as of late, that has not been a good look for people that Roxy's fought because they miss weight and they beat her. You know.
Yeah. Well, the other girl I was thinking was Vivi Arajo, Vivian Arajo.
Well, she's already taken on I though. Well, I'd love to see it because that's what I call those Invicta style fights because that's prospect versus prospect. Who's
Mm-hmm.
who's the baddest chick? Let's fucking figure it out right now.
They're
But
both strong.
yeah, and see Vivi, I like, and that's just a personal thing. I like Vivi, but she is kind of like the tails to Barber's head, or she's the flip side of the coin of her. They're exciting. They knock girls out. They're young. Oh no, Vivi's what 30?
Yeah, I think so. She
So she's
just
not
doesn't
that.
look it.
Yeah, she's not that young, but obviously still very bright prospects. And it's like, well, who's gonna do it? That to me, if I was Mick Maynard, if I was Sean Shelby, Dana White, that's what I would sign. But obviously they're kind of gonna take their time with Macy, which I don't totally hate. Yeah, I really just think other girls should start calling her out because better sooner than later, man. It's your chance now. I'm not saying she'll be unbeatable in a few years. There's glaring holes in her game, and if they're not addressed, she may be. I look at it this way. I think she can become either the next Ben Henderson or the next Jon Jones. And yeah, that sounds icky coming out of my mouth even as I say it. But Ben Henderson was obviously a decent champ in his time, and he's a good fighter, but had his ups and downs, and people kind of figured him out because he hasn't changed that much. She can be a guy like like a fighter like that because she has kind of a similar style, or she can be Jon Jones where she starts to master it, and then people basically can't even lay a glove on her, and she's just kicking the shit out of people. And you really need to find out now because you never know.
So it would be interesting though. I didn't see her video on Paige's response yet, or yeah, the that shit that Paige posted on her IG. she tagged practically everybody in the flyweight and the strawweight division except for Macy. She'll be honored to find anybody else except for her.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one.
I haven't seen Macy's response yet, but it's just it's so catty.
It's just she just Macy made it a feud, man. She got involved with the husband thing, and like I think she thought it was a joke, and then she saw it seriously. She took it, and then she took it personal. It's like, wait, what the fuck? You don't want to fight me? And like then I think that's why she started getting mad. It's like she won't give her the opportunity. It's like, well, yeah, you're acting fucking horrific. Getting in people's personal shit, man. You're getting involved in marriages. Don't do that. As someone who once did it, I'll tell you, don't do that. Learn, Macy. Learn from my mistakes.
PSA.
Yeah, you can learn shit on this podcast. Not very good things, but you can learn stuff. Anyway, let's talk about some of the shit that just happened. So the co-main event of UFC Boston, Yair Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens. Jesus Christ, that was one of the craziest fights I've seen this year. That shit was nuts, man. I loved every second of it.
It's too bad it wasn't 5 rounds.
You know what? I don't know if I tweeted this or not, but it's definitely what I thought after the fight's over. Like, I hope this becomes like the Pacquiao Marquez of MMA. Obviously, Pacquiao Marquez, they're legends in boxing, and they're some of the great champions of their time. But the fact that they fought like 4 times and nobody gave a shit, like nobody was like, oh, we've seen this fight already, because the fights were so awesome. It's like, yes, keep fighting, fight 5 more times. We don't give a shit, just keep fighting. Like, I hope this is the situation with Rodriguez and Stevens, because it seemed like they respected each other after the fight, which is good. But I think given the shit that happened in Mexico, it's like, yeah, you can respect one another and all that, but there's always gonna be that thing in the back of your head, like, man, that was a bad fucking night. Fuck this guy, you know? You can respect him, but you can still say fuck this guy.
Yeah, that fight, insane fight. Even that opening round, like straight off the bat, they were going hard. They were going at it. And even at the very end, it's like, dude, they look like they're still fresh and they can still go.
And
They
the
can
fact
go
that
2 more rounds.
Stevens was basically looked like he was getting stronger as the fight went on. Like, well, the second round, honestly, the second round might be round of the year because
Oh
I was
God, yeah.
like 2 minutes in, I'm like, this needs to be stopped, and then like 2.5 minutes in, I'm like, if it's not gonna get stopped, this definitely is a 10-8. Then Jeremy Stevens gets up and puts up a hell of a fight. It's like, fuck, I don't know if that's a 10-9 now or it's still a 10-8 or it's like a 9-9 or a 9-8. Like that shit was ridiculous. Like, yeah, that was he was on the brink of just yeah, that fight was gonna be over, and he fought back so hard that he made that round look not so dominant.
I I don't know how he survived that. I that
Yeah, he
how
was
the
very lucky.
fuck?
I
Yeah.
I don't like to say that fighters are lucky because obviously they're very skilled, but yeah, if that was the most refs would have stopped that. And I don't remember who that ref was. I don't think it was Miragliotta or Dean or any of the experienced guys. But good on that guy. Maybe he didn't know any better. Maybe he just panicked. But good on him for letting it go because obviously it turned out to be a great fight.
Well, most fighters would have just been fucked up and done with and TKO, but Steven's just an animal, man.
Well, I
He's
give him
fucking
props for sticking
insane.
through. I mean, obviously he got hit with a body shot. That's what started it. And
Yeah.
still remember the Jose Aldo fight. It's like, well, I don't know if he has a weak
Jesus.
there or not, but
Hmm.
you could tell like for him to withstand that, he had to put it in his mind, like, not today, motherfucker. That shit's not gonna happen to me again. You know, like that he was thinking that, like, I'm not gonna go down by a body shot again.
Insane, dude. I thought he was gonna get choked out too. Nope. Nope. He was constantly like fighting it.
Yeah.
He was aware. He's like, no, you're not gonna stop this shit. You're not taking this from me. Fucking animal. Yeah, you're right. Like it has to be round of the year.
Do you think there should be an immediate rematch? Because I don't know. I don't know where Yair goes from here. And Stevens, like, well, yeah, he could take a step back. He lost, but did he really?
No, they both won in my book. I
I
mean,
want to
yeah,
see a rematch, and I want to see 5 rounds. And then
yeah,
if that fight's as good as this one, then fucking do it again, maybe somewhere down the line, or don't. But
yeah.
I need some closure, and I don't feel like I got closure with this one.
No, definitely not. I mean, there's still a story there because we didn't get to see the 5 rounds. They prepared for 5 rounds. They both did, right? In Mexico, they were both there early. They were supposed to go 5 rounds. Like we still don't know.
Yeah,
Because I mean, who knows? If it was 5 rounds, it could have been Steven's fight. Like
yeah, and
I mean, they were all saying that. Even he said it was like if it was 5 rounds for me, then yeah, I would have took it.
yeah.
We knew about Yair 3 rounds.
But
Yeah, he
but
needs to
then
get it done in
again,
3.
we've seen Yair fifth round
Yes,
elbow
that's true.
knockout, so it's not like he's totally incapable of doing some crazy shit.
Yeah. See, there's that layer too. It's like we got another. Like, come on, we have all these questions.
Like it's cool that it was that entertaining, but it's like still we're kind of left in the same spot as we were a month ago. And for some reason I'm like giddy about it. I'm like, well, yes, so we can do it again. Like I'd love the immediate rematch. I'm sure they wouldn't. Well, I don't think Yair would because man, that was close. But
Dude, that's so crazy though. Like the entire stadium, like chanting America or USA, USA, right? And then Pantera, Pantera, like they're so excited. So it's great that they were able to set this up again so soon and we got this exciting fucking fight. But
yeah.
how crazy is it that like Dana's like, shit, I should have made this 5 rounds. Fuck.
Yeah, he got mad and okay, well that's a great segue. Thank you for that setup, Rain. Well, yeah, let's talk about it. So the main event, Chris Weidman got knocked out in the first round by Dominic Reyes, and alluding to that comment, yeah, Dana was like, I should have made this the main event because this was a crazy ass fight, and we could have got 2 more rounds, and Dominic Reyes just knocked the former champion out in 1 round. So what did it accomplish? Or I don't think that's what he said. What did it accomplish? But like, yeah, it would have worked out better, but hindsight being 2020 type thing. But um, okay, just initial thoughts on this match, and I have a couple of things to say here, but I think I will go better tagging off of you.
I mean, we talked about it. It's I don't think it would have ended well, this whole same test that Rocco, we just saw Rocco go through.
Yeah, we both basically picked Reyes because of that. Because we're like, we just can't trust Weidman for some reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was out that long and then to go against Reyes,
A
poor
lot of
Weidman.
a lot of people are bringing this up, especially because they had a feud and they'd fought Weidman and Rockwell. They're drawing a lot of parallels of Rockwell wasn't looking so good at middleweight lately. Went up, got knocked the fuck out. Basically the exact same thing with Weidman here. I don't know. Here's the question I have. Jacare is gonna fight Jan Blankovic in a few weeks' time. Another guy coming up from middleweight to light heavyweight. With him, even weirder because well, he was never a UFC champion, but he was a Strikeforce champion for a while and a very well respected guy. Had that fight with Jack Hermanson lately, and then obviously we know about his mental issues and stuff. Some guys have come, Thiago Santos, um, Anthony Smith. These guys went up who were kind of nobodies in middleweight, and they became top contenders. And these guys that were former champions, they're not shit right now, really. So where do you think a guy like Jacare lands? Like, are you when that fight comes around, are you gonna be worried to pick for him because he's gonna remind you of Rockhold Weidman, or do you think there's something in him that he can be a Thiago Santos or Anthony Smith type?
No, I would be concerned because of that mental layer too that he just announced. So
All about his mental issues, depression, and all that.
yeah,
Oh, okay. And
yeah,
man, Jan Blankovic, as we mentioned when it happened, that is not an easy fight, man. He's fucking
right,
taking it.
yeah. That is a tough task. They just, I mean, they did it to all three of them. They were just like, here you go. Here's a top guy, top rank guy. They're not building them up, right? Yeah, they're not even giving them an opportunity to just settle in and fill this out and see if this is the right, the right weight class for them. So,
I think another parallel with Weidman and Rockhold is that they were both uber confident walking in, like way too confident. And that's the thing that people laughed at.
yes.
Rockhold, he got knocked the fuck out, even though he said he's gonna fight Jon Jones next. And
Yeah.
Weidman, in lesser, to a lesser degree, said basically the same thing, and then same result. So Dana White had made comments a few weeks ago about Rockhold possibly not coming back. That's what Rockhold said, and that is basically what he said out of his mouth. But Dana's now saying that he doesn't necessarily want to see Weidman back, that he's gonna give him the talk type shit. At this point, Reen, what do you think? I mean, I don't think these guys are ever gonna become champions again, but who's worse off? Like if you had to tell one guy, if you had to make one guy retire right now, who would you make retire? And not anything personal, like I don't like Luke or I don't like Chris, but like just for their own health, like seriously, like who's having it worse right now? Who's the one you're more concerned about?
Okay, so if you're like, yeah, putting in health and whatnot too,
Yeah,
uh, probably Wyman. He's had 5 knockouts. Rockhold's only had like 3. They both faced Yoel, and I think that's where it just changed for them. But I mean, Wyman just continued to fight. Rockhold was just been out because of all these injuries. We're kind of same with Wyman too, but 5 knockouts, dude, crazy. Yeah, health. Walk away right now. I mean, really think about it. If this is what you want to do, it's not looking good, man.
a minute ago when I asked you, I would have said Rockhold easily, specifically because the last fight, the Blankovic knockout was horrifying. And like I said, when it happened and when we recorded, I knew right away that he was fucked up. I knew right away that he had a severe injury because of the way he was looking and grabbing his jaw and all that. Broken jaw is obviously nothing to laugh about. But well, I say that yet, Reen, you've had your moments. But regardless, I actually think you brought up a good point. And I think I gotta agree with you with Weidman because they're both good fighters. They're both still, I think, even as of right now, even if they retire today, two of the best middleweights of all time. But the good and the bad thing, the good thing for Rockhold's health, but the bad thing as far as like his appeal, Rockhold has never been in like real serious wars. I guess like maybe the Jacare fight and the Weidman fights were definitely competitive, but they weren't like knock 'em, drop 'em, what is it? Knock 'em down, drag 'em out wars type shit. But then you look at Weidman, the Machida fight, and then I mean, what a year ago was the Jacare fight. Like those were wars, man. They took some, he took some, he gave some, and then the Machida fight he won. It was not easy, but he won. And then in the Jacare fight, he got brutally knocked out. It's like, and that, like I said, that was just a year ago. So yeah, I think as far as who's taking the more damage, Rocco's probably been knocked out in more devastating fashion, but Weidman's taken more of the cumulative damage.
He has a family too, so he really needs to think about what he wants to do next.
Yeah, yeah. At least Rockhold can still go off of his looks for the time being, and hopefully he'll learn to be quiet and let women stay around. You know what I mean?
See, and you know what's funny? I thought I would laugh for, seeing this too. I thought I would have the same reaction as I did with Rockhold getting knocked out, but
Well,
I don't.
with Weidman getting
Yeah,
knocked out, why?
yeah. Because I thought it was funny that they're both, you mentioned it too, like they both
Uh,
coming up, talking shit, kind of overlooking their opponent, and they're just going right after Jon Jones, talking shit to Jon Jones, and then look. So I thought I would have like the same reaction, but no, it's like, no, that's sad. That's your fifth knockout, man. That's so sad. And because Reyes had a questionable fight. His previous fight was questionable. I had no idea that he was going to do this in the first round. Not like that. Just the way he like knocked him out. Holy fuck, man.
And it was beautiful because I mean, obviously Dominic's a powerful guy and an athletic dude, but that punch was all skill, man. It was perfectly placed. Got him at a perfect angle. I mean, nobody was surviving that punch because that
Yeah.
wasn't a thing of brute power. That was just perfect technique.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So
And then those
good for
hammer
him.
fists on the floor, those were
Oh
brutal.
god. I
I was,
know.
those
Yeah.
are damn because the punch dropped him good, and he was fighting back. I was like, I wasn't that worried when Whiteman fell. I was like, oh, he's hurt, but he looks like he's recovering. And then those hammer fist lands, like, nope, he's done.
Yeah, the follow through and then his head hitting the canvas and just yeah, see that? Oh man, come on, Weidman. But good for Reyes for turning that around because that last fight, like I said, is questionable. So I wonder if he's gonna get that title shot opportunity.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that more in just a bit because there's definitely talk of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we'll save that off for now. But in the meantime, let's get into our preview of UFC Singapore. First up, Alexandra Albu. I have a hard time with that name. Alexandra Albu is gonna fight Loma Lugbunmi. And if you guys don't know who Loma is, she is a expert Muay Thai fighter who's only gone in MMA very recently. She's training out of Tiger Muay Thai. She's out of a good gym. Very well rounded for her place in the sport as of right now. Like she's got her shit together. And the thing is, she's going up in weight, which is the one thing that's kind of like I'm glad that she's in the UFC, but I don't know how this is going to work out for her. And Alexandra Albu is, I mean, everybody's secret. Well, seems like it's a lot of guys' secret favorite fighter, at least on Instagram.
Of course.
But all kidding aside, she's a weird fighter because she's talk about a brute, man. That girl's a brute. That's full on She-Hulk, man. Uh, she's definitely skilled, not as skilled as Loma, especially on the feet. But I think this is a good. It almost reminds me. I don't mean this to insult them, but it is a fight that I love for morbid reasons. It almost reminds me of was it Ernesto Hoost and Bob Sapp from back in the day in K1.
Oh shit.
I swear to God, every time I'm depressed, I've literally there's been times where I've been depressed, like where I literally like just wanted to curl up into a ball and just fucking say bye to the world, just don't talk to me. And I've put on that fight and I just giggle like a little schoolgirl.
That's just so funny.
But it's wrong. I'm laughing because it's wrong. Like, just come on, man. Like, This ain't right. But anyway, that's another topic entirely. But no, in a way, yeah, it's the big brute versus the smaller technical wizard.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. What you just said was perfect. Yeah, I'm actually interested in this fight. I didn't know who she was until I started looking into her and who she fought in her Muay Thai bouts. And yeah, there was a name that I recognized, and I'm like, shit, she beat her twice. She must be a monster on the feet. Yes, she trains at Tiger Muay Thai. Fucking their tryouts are just insane. So yeah, she's a fucking monster.
And
So,
let's give a homegirl a shout out. Who was the girl that you're impressed by? Who did she beat twice?
oh, Sylvie Douglas.
Yeah, if you guys don't know her, man, she's a man. She's putting it all. She's putting it up for white people and Americans, man. She's showing that Westerners can fucking do this shit. Her and Janet Todd, man. I know on the men's side there's plenty of good American Thai fighters, but as far as American women, yeah, those girls put it down. Janet Todd and Sylvie Douglas, they're legit. And yeah, as Reen said, she Loma has beat her twice.
Yeah, and Sylvie, she's no joke. She lives in Thailand. She's all about that culture and she fights or she trains with legends. She goes around and trains with all of the Muay Thai legends. Like it's fucking insane the videos that she has. But that's why I'm like intrigued to see this. You know, she has all this experience like you were saying. So I wonder how could how's she going to be how can she handle this new weight class? How's she gonna handle it with this brute, like you said?
Yeah, if Muay Thai were a religion, Sylvie Douglas would be a missionary nun. She'd be going around the world preaching the fucking word. Like all she does is blogs, even if it's not about entirely about fighting. It's like, oh, this is how life is like in Thailand. This is what we eat. This is where we walk to. This is where we drive. Blah 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 blah. And blogs and websites dedicated to it. Videos almost every day about some new technique she learned, voiceover stuff. I know we're talking about Loma and Albu right now, but just to give a, if you guys really don't know what Sylvie does is, no, it's a girl that I definitely think, I'm like, man, why doesn't this girl have more followers? She is such an interesting background and such an interesting story. But yeah, that's his own thing right there. But yeah, I'm excited for this. And then here's the other thing. There's a big possibility this may not work out well for Loma because of, like we just said, the size discrepancy. But I don't necessarily like that the UFC signs undersized women. I really wish they'd put an atomweight division, but signing these girls, I hope just one of these girls clicks. Like that's why I'm a gigantic Sohee Ham a fan. I seen her at the UFC and I thought she was super interesting and really fun and just really exciting, and I just decided to follow her elsewhere. When she got cut, I kept following her. And I've always been a fan of the atomweight division, but I hope enough girls come through like that people are just gonna start clamoring like, why do we keep getting these girls in divisions that they're not good in? Like you need to bring in the atomweights. One of the fighters, actually the only fighter I've had an interview with, Alicia Sapatella, that's her whole thing is we want atomweights in the UFC. She's kind of like the voice behind all that, and I think the more we see women like this, they may lose. If they're successful, even better. But I hope their personality and their fight styles get enough excitement that people want to keep seeing them, especially at a weight class that suits them.
Yeah, when I was looking at this fight, I just instantly thinking about, Michelle.
Michelle Watterson.
Yeah.
Do you think she'd go back down though? Because I mean, she's put on a lot of muscle. Like I don't think that weight, and obviously she's not as young anymore. I don't know if that's gonna be a fun weight cut.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
But it is a possibility. It's just I don't know how likely. But yeah, that's I was gonna kind of bring that up too. It's like yeah, there's women like Michelle who I remember Jessica I when the bantamweights first got signed. She's like, yeah, I'm too big and I don't know if I could do flyweight anymore. I think bantamweight's a division for me. But when they started talking about flyweight, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna move down to flyweight. You know I am. So I wonder if they start doing something like that Michelle's gonna be like, all right, I gotta go back down to I gotta go with the one that brought me to the dance type thing. I got to go back to my natural division.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And
If perfect world, they would just open it up for her because she's signed with WME, WME, UFC. They're in bed together. They
mm-hmm.
could set something up like they did with Valentina, but I don't think that's in their cards. So
Yeah,
it's
it
too
might
bad.
take a while. It might take a while, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. That I've seen from people that are like, oh, it's not many finishes or whatever. I've seen plenty of finishes, very violent girls, and there's just girls with tons of personality and that are really fun to watch. Sohee Ham, Loma is obviously another one. Jinyu Frey, Alicia Zapatel. There's really good girls down there, and yeah, I think people would be surprised. I hope little by little they start trickling in and people start to ask for atom weights. It won't
Huh.
just be the women's MMA people. I hope people in general.
Yeah, start the movement, but
Hmm.
maybe hopefully when we see more movement with the flyweight division,
Yeah, I think
as
it's
it
gonna
grows
take.
more.
Yeah, it's like nobody was talking about flyweight when Joanna was one defense in, because people enjoyed Joanna and they wanted to see what happened with that division. But once we saw that there was plenty of contenders and she had her work cut out for her. It's like, oh, okay, well, who else? Well, let's talk about flyweights. Yeah.
Yep. Wait, man, we went way long on that one.
Well, it's a fight that no one's going to be talking about, but I think really commands people's. You should get people's attention and want to see why. And to give a shout out to Sylvie Douglas, of course. But
Oh
next
my
up,
God. I can keep going on about her, but maybe
yeah,
it's like a different like podcast.
yeah, we'll have something in the pipeline coming up. We're nearing the end of the year, and the MMA events are gonna dwindle a bit. So yeah, we might have other stuff in store. We'll be talking off air and keep you guys in the loop too. Keep following us. Next up though, Muslim Salikov is fighting Laureano Staropoli. Staropoli, I haven't been the biggest fan of. I don't know. I think he's like has like that typical. Well, I think he has a traditional martial arts background, but I don't know. He has like that South American kickboxing style. I say they're usually like very athletic and just big time outfighters. They're like kind of trying to imitate Raymond Daniels type shit, and I'm more of like the Nicky Holskin, the Dutch style uh, kickboxing route. Star Poly reminds me a lot of that. But he did beat Thiago Alves in his last fight, and Muslim Salikov knocked the fucking shit out of Nordin Taleb, and one of the cleanest knockouts I've seen maybe ever. And this should be a fight that probably nobody's gonna even pay attention to, but just like Loma and Albu, they should because this should be dynamite.
Oh my God. Really? It's maybe fight of the night, or it could just end very quickly. I can't believe like Salkov is back fighting again. He just fought in September.
Well, okay, was it a first round or a second round knockout? I know it didn't go that long.
It was
It's
first round, but
okay, and I do remember that he didn't take a lot of damage. I clearly
mhm.
remember that.
Damn, dude, he's savage, man. It's a crazy fight.
And I believe Staropoli was supposed to fight someone else like a month or two ago, and he'd been injured, so I guess he's coming off of his own thing. But yeah, oh shit, I just realized I have to go back to it. I just realized, did we even pick anybody in the last fight? I'm gonna go with Loma.
Saying no, we're just going in different directions with that one. Yeah, I'm going with Loma too.
Okay, all right, we got that out of the way. Just we're about to pick this one. We didn't pick the last one. Yeah, I think I gotta go with Salikov. That dude's power is otherworldly. Because say what you want about Norton Taleb, I know some people think he's kind of boring and this and that, but he's tough as hell, man. It's not easy to knock that dude out, and he knocked him fucking dead. So I'm a big believer in Salikov.
Same. I'm picking him too because there's no way he's never been finished. Yeah, he has all this knockout power. Dude, it's so crazy though, man. It seems like they're like feeding. Yeah, they're just feeding an easy one for Solikov, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me, this young kid,
Well,
to the slaughter.
I think they have hope in Staropoli too. It's just not the kind of hope that they have in Salikov.
Yeah.
But yeah, this can most
Eek.
likely be a highlight reel
Hell
for
yeah, man.
most likely for Salikov.
Yeah. Crazy.
Next up, Benil Dariush is fighting Frank Camacho. Frank Camacho's a full blown savage. Benio Dariush is one of my favorite fighters to watch. Very one of the few like legitimately nice guys. He's one of the rare people. I have literally like a handful of people that if you were to tell me something awful happened, assault, domestic violence, all the type of shit, drugs, all the type of shit that MMA fighters get into. There's only like 5 fighters that I have in my Rolodex that and be like, wait, that guy? And Dariush is one of them. So good guy. Frank Camacho, full blown savage. Dariush, more of a grappler, but obviously has some striking. And Camacho is just a fucking brawler. It's kind of. I'm interested to know how this fight's gonna play out. It's kind of tough for me to tell.
I couldn't figure this one out either. I don't have a pick yet. It's blank because I wasn't sure. I was going back and forth on it. I'm
Mm,
interested though. Like I love Benil. Benny.
I think I'll go with Dariush just because he's more proven and I think he's more well rounded. I still have my doubts about Camacho, but Camacho can definitely put the lights out. It's not like Dariush hasn't been knocked out before, but I think it's going to be a tougher night for Camacho than it is going to be for Dariush.
You know, I'll just go opposite because I wasn't sure. But
Okay.
looking at this card before, I wasn't really interested. I wasn't impressed, but just actually looking at each bout, I'm like, damn, this is not bad. This
Well,
card
it's
isn't bad at all.
it's the main event that's got people soured, and then of course it's in Singapore in the fucking middle of the night. But we'll get to that in just a second. Co-main event's not bad either. Stevie
Mm-mm.
Ray versus Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson went back up in weight, which I don't know how to feel about. Usually I'm in favor of that, but I don't know. I mean, Michael Johnson's just one of those guys that wins one, loses one, and I don't know if weight has anything to do with that. And then of course, wait, was his last fight the Emmett knockout?
Yes,
Oh fuck.
yes.
Well, I guess that is good because um, depleting yourself like that probably had a big reason to do of why he looked so
Did
shitty in that fight.
I think he did have a weight cut issue, did he? Oh, I can't remember. That was back in March, I think. Yeah, knockout. Round three, brutal. He was really doing good though up until that point. Josh Emmett is just a monster. But Ray got knocked out too in his fight.
You know what? And as I'm right now as I'm speaking, I was like, man, I don't remember Stevie Ray's last fight. I've always liked the guy, but I don't know if I've kept up with him in the past couple of months.
Yeah, he had a June fight with Santos and Leonardo Santos. I was watching the highlights earlier on it.
Holy fucking shit, I forgot. Yes, that possibly one of the best knockouts of the year where he fucking floored him with that beautiful counter. Oh my god, how could I forget that? Thank you for that. After
And
what, 4 years off or whatever that the kid hadn't fought?
crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, they both had some like brutal knockouts.
Proto knockouts behind him, yeah. And
Yep. Yeah,
uh,
and Johnson's going up in weight. So interesting though.
I'm
It's still inconsistent. He's an inconsistent fighter.
yeah, then I think for that reason I gotta go with Stevie Ray. I don't have a lot of faith in Stevie Ray, especially after that goddamn knockout, but you could easily say that Johnson's was worse. So, but then again, it wasn't as recent. I'll just say Stevie Ray because yeah, I guess I just can't trust Johnson right now. I can't fully trust Ray either, but I don't know. I guess it's just a gut feeling because it is a really close fight.
Yeah, I'll go with Johnson then. I'll just go opposite.
Cool. All right. Now the fight we've all been waiting for: Ben Askren and Damian Maia for 5 beautiful, beautiful rounds. Because you know it's not gonna end before that. You know that. Okay, so I've had like no analysis of this whatsoever. I People have actually been talking about this fight for years for some goddamn reason. I don't know, man. Um, I just the more I try to wrap my head around it, the more I know Ben Askren's worked on his grappling a lot, his jiu-jitsu, but it's just so hard for me. The way to beat Damian Maia has been proven time and time again. Do not go to the floor with him. You don't even have to be that good of a striker. Just do not go to the floor with him. Tyron Woodley threw fucking 3 punches in his whole fight, and he beat him just because he didn't go to the floor with him. Ben Askren can't fucking box. This seems like a pretty easy equation to me. Damian Maya's gonna fucking, if he doesn't submit him, he's just gonna dominate him because he's got nothing for him on the feet. Damian Maya has nothing to worry about. He's gonna put him in his element all the time. And part of me also says like, well, look at the Jake Shields fight. That was mostly grappling, all grappling, and Jake Shields won. But Jake Shields has been doing jiu-jitsu for way longer than Askren has, so I just don't have faith in Askren.
Yeah, this is interesting, man. Wrestler versus grappler. I was watching the UFC pro picks, and a lot of the pros were going for Askren, which surprised me because I thought they would probably go for Maya because I mean at least he has better stand up than Askren. If they go to the ground, I think Maya has a better chance of subbing him. So yeah, it surprised me. So I'm intrigued with this fight. Like I don't get it. I don't know. It's just with Askren though. He was supposed to be this big fighter coming in, and he's just been a disappointment. So I'm not. I'm like, I want to see it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, it's Ben Askren again. All right, now what?
I kind of think
What
that's
is
the
he gonna show
reason.
us?
I kind of think that's the reason that people are picking him. It's like, all right, he's gonna impress us eventually. Maybe this is
Mhm.
the fight, but I don't see much reason of why that would be the case.
Yeah. So I mean, my pick is Maya. Uh,
Yeah, me too.
right? So I was just yeah surprised with all the pros going with Ben. So yeah,
I
we'll
I
see what
think
happens.
I mean, I don't know who these pros are. Like, I literally don't know what the fighters that picked them. But I kind of have this feeling, especially people outside his weight class. I think I have this feeling
Mhm.
that people actually like and respect Ben, especially wrestlers. Um, and people who probably been in the UFC a while, or I think they kind of like him because they're like, oh, he talks shit, but I don't want to say he backs it up because he got knocked out in his last fucking fight, but like, oh, he's tries to be entertaining and he's basically gone off on just his wrestling. Like people
Mhm.
give Maya that same respect too. It's like, hey, he hasn't tried to really learn how to strike. He's just doing it with jiu-jitsu. It's like, hey, he's doing it the way that got him there, and he's being successful. I think people
Mhm.
have that weird respect for Askren. It's like, hey, he's just a wrestler, and that's all there is to him. Yet he still
Mhm.
wins. But this just screams terrible matchup. I don't see him winning.
Yeah. So the pros were like Colby Covington, Eric Anders, Dan Hooker even chimed. Yeah, he was part of that too. Dan
Holy,
Hooker, he even joked like, yeah, Damian Maya by a knockout. So I was cracking up with that.
I
His
wouldn't be
character.
surprised at that because Damian Maya actually does hit kind of hard, but I don't know. I wonder if he's gonna try and that'd be interesting if he tries to strike with him because at least Maya would be willing to do it. Askren's just like, nope, take down.
Yeah. That would be yeah. That would be hilarious. Oh yeah. Keep it standing. See what happens. But here we are with Askren again. But you know who's really winning? Demetrius Johnson with this entire trade situation.
Why? Because he became the champion over there and he's respected and
Just
all that shit over there.
yeah, and look what we got. We got Askren. Questions still looming.
So
We haven't got to see him like in his greatness or anything. So what's going to happen to him if he loses? Is that it? Is the Ben Askren experiment over?
no, I mean he'll be fine. He'll definitely have another fight. It's just against who. I don't. The one thing I'll be honest. Another reason of why I wasn't too fond of Ashkin. This isn't necessarily his fault. I mean, yeah, he talks a lot of shit, but it's funny that, and maybe it's because Dana wanted to see him get his ass beat, and maybe that was his whole thing of him talking shit. It's like Dana wants to see me get my ass beat, so he's gonna put me in there against tough guys, against the best guys. But it's the fact that people were treating him like he was a top contender. Like he'd been in like one or two good guys in his career, and it was years ago. Like, why are you throwing him in the UFC against Robbie Lawler and Jorge Masvidal? Like, oh yeah, he'll take care of these guys. Like, dude, these are proven veterans. Like, I mean, I don't care. I wanted to see him lose, so I'm like, all right, fuck it, go for it. But don't treat him like he's already like a. We don't even know if he's a top 10 guy, and people were treating him like he was the next in line. People were saying, oh, if he beats Robbie, he's next to the title. And then it's like, oh, okay, well the fight played out how it did. Oh, well then Masvidal or Till. And if he wins that fight, he's next to the title. It's like, where the fuck does he get off, man?
Yeah, that was crazy too, with Woodley in the mix and respecting each other. Like, well, if he goes for the title, well, if he goes for the title, that wasn't not too long ago.
Yeah, yeah, weird.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, so we both got Maya. So that does it for our preview. Before we get into some headlines, I wanted to read the tweet of the week, and this week's tweet goes to Leslie Smith, one of my favorite fighters. So this is a kind of a thread. I'm kind of gonna skim through these, and I will tell you the tweet of the week imminently. But I guess this all came down when people Mark Raimondi was reporting on Lad's testimony and the issue that we talked about last week about her fight being overturned against Jermaine Durandamy and all that. And it was one of her quotes. She said, "I've had people question my chin more so than a male teammate. For example, it's common for people to believe that we function at a lesser degree than the males of the sport." And Justin Buchholz, former Team Alpha Male trainer, saw that and he tweeted, "Can we all agree that men are better at fighting than women?" And Leslie Smith saw that and quote tweeted that and put, "Hi, Justin Buchholz. I'm writing a paper tonight for a class, and I wonder if you would be willing to give me a couple of quotes I can use about how prevalent cultural beliefs like this are." And he quoted that tweet saying, "Am I wrong?" And she keeps going. She said, "I was hoping to ask you more questions, but since you'd rather make a spectacle out of the conversation, I guess I'm cool. Thanks for responding, kind of." And she also replied by the whole "Am I wrong" thing. Leslie Smith tweeted, "Judging by my career compared to yours, I'd say you're wrong." And he replied, "Let's fight then. I would beat all of your opponents faster by KO. You couldn't beat one person I fought." And here's the tweet of the week. Here's where it may be the tweet of the year, where she fucking bombed this dude. She replied back to Justin Buchholz, "No thanks. 1, I fight for money. 2, I'd rather not touch you. 3, challenging women is the only thing that makes you look dumber than challenging women's fighting ability." And then she went from 3 to 5. That was the one thing where she fucked up. 5, you weigh more than me. 6, I still have a fight career to focus on. I'm done. Have a good night.
Wow.
She fucking murdered him.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Is he on something? What is he thinking?
Guys need to realize you don't fuck with Leslie Smith, man. She once kicked a dude in the balls who grabbed her friend's ass. Like she does not play this shit. I know she's some skinny hippie chick from fucking the Bay Area, but she will fuck you up. She gives no kinds of fucks.
What the fuck? Is Justin hanging out with Cejudo? What
Shit,
the fuck is going
that
on?
this is some shit that I'm like, even if Colby Covington tweeted this, I'd be like, bro, like this is too much even for you. Like, I can't even say this is Colby Covington level. Like this is fucking went beyond that. But she
What the hell?
fucking went scorched earth on this dude, and she fucking
Good.
annihilated him.
Good. He deserved it, but what happened to you?
Dude, I used to be a big Justin Buchholz fan too. Like when I first started watching UFC, I'd seen I forget who he fought, but he was always just a scrapper. I'm like, this dude's cool. And I didn't, he was kind of responsible for Cody beating Dominic Cruz. I'll give him credit for that. And then I don't know where this shit came from. I didn't even necessarily have an issue with the whole his argument of men are better fighting women. I don't agree with it, but at least I can see where he's coming from that. And then he just kept going further and further, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're going full fucking, you know, full full fucking caveman, dude. Like you fucking dumbass.
Yeah. I hope he was hacked or he was on something.
Yeah.
He's been. I don't know. His tweets have been interesting. Like that one he tweeted at Pearl when she was at the strip club. I'm like,
I still don't get that. You
I
said
don't
that.
get it either.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What's wrong with you, dude? You don't like those? You don't like the girls shaking their ass? What's wrong with you?
Apparently
You
not.
don't like Pearl? Like what? What is there beef? Yeah, Calvillo fought her before, but What's up? And then now there's this, and it's a whole different level. Disrespecting.
Yeah,
What's
that shit was
up?
not cool whatsoever. Like he went for something that was controversial to say it was, men are better fighting than women. Like, okay, there's an argument to be had, but it's not cool. And just kept going further and further. And Leslie she's a hippie and all, but she hit the fucking nuclear option, man.
Man, she's a scrap pack girl. She don't fuck around.
No. So there you go, Justin Buckles. That's what you get. But from then, let's move on to headlines. I don't know if this is the biggest story of the week, but definitely something that we cannot ignore. Greg Hardy is replacing Junior Dos Santos, and he's gonna take on Alexander fucking Volkov of all people, happening November 9th at UFC Moscow. The most interesting thing of this story to me is that this is gonna be a co-main event. It was originally a main event between JDS and Volkov, and it's going down to a co-main. And Magomed Sharapov versus Cater is now the main event, and I think it's still 3 rounds. And just the interest of full disclosure, JDS pulled out with a horrendous leg injury. It looks like a disgusting staph infection. You guys haven't seen it. I suggest you don't, but if you're interested, you fucking go ahead, knock yourself out.
Nasty. I saw it. Nasty. Was he like doing the dance competition or whatever Brazilian Dancing with the Stars competition? Was he dancing with that thing on his leg?
I don't know. I didn't really even read the post. I just saw some of the pics. I'm like, all right, I believe you.
Oh
Seen
God,
all I need to see.
gross. Yeah. Ugh, I'm gonna throw up. Anyways, yeah, I'm being dramatic right now. I mean, he's a walking headline, right? Greg Hardy.
It's I don't know how to feel. I mean, we're all gonna get an early Christmas present because I don't know one person that doesn't want to see Greg Hardy get knocked out, and that's most likely what will happen here. But he got a lot of hate this week for he did cheat technically, but it's like, dude, he got. And I forget who wrote it, but somebody wrote like immediately after it happened, like, man, or I don't know if it was a tweet someone put like, for once, Greg Hardy really is the victim. And he kind of was in this instance because he kind of did no wrong, no fault of his own, But and the other thing, just being objective about it, he actually looked pretty good in this fight. Say what you want about Sassoli, the guy he was fighting, but he looked improved. And then the whole inhaler thing happened between the second and third rounds. And the thing that was just it's kind of funny, but it was also kind of concerning was how hard he was huffing and puffing at the end of the third after he'd done the inhaler. It was like, Jesus, like it was a thing of like, man, this guy probably should not be fighting. If he can't make it 15 minutes, that's not good. Like doctors really need to look at him. But obviously, with things like Bisping's glass eye, we know that commissions and doctors are shit in this sport, apparently.
It's all fucked up all around. What can you do?
We're gonna relish in the knockout. He's almost assuredly gonna get knocked out, and we'll celebrate when that time comes. But I guess the question is, and I don't even want to really speculate on this because it's like, who the fuck knows? People are like, is he gonna get cut after a few losses? Is it too much drama right now with the domestic stuff that he can't shake off and the cheating and all the issues that have plagued him, disqualifications, no contest, all this shit? Or is Dana gonna keep going to bat for him and say, "Oh, this guy can fight and he's misunderstood and his past is in the past" and all that type of shit?
I don't understand what's going on with him. The people that are handling him are not helping him. I mean, knowing he already has negativity stepping into this, where he came from, given this opportunity, like they're not taking care of him. That's their job. This is totally new to him. He came from a different professional field, and they're not handling it right, especially with what happened, this past weekend. I think it was on Matt Serra's podcast. He told Dean Thomas told him that it was a split decision on what happened, and then Matt Serra kind of like talked about something else because I don't think he was supposed to say anything like that. It sounded weird when it came out. But yeah, split decision. On a fighter's career, you got to be on it, right? And it's not like this was his first rodeo. This he's been coaching for a while, so it's just unfortunate. Like, yeah, he is the victim in this. It sucks for him.
I don't want to say it's such a it's an unfortunate situation regardless,
It's
but
yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't feel bad for the guy, you know.
No, I mean, I don't. It's just like here we go again, right? Like, okay, Rick
And
Hardy, there's controversy again, so it's like,
we've really tried to stay off this boat of not talking about
I
him
know.
really to a minimum, and I do want to say one thing. I do find it funny that there's people still right now that like on principle don't want to speak about him at all, and it's like, look, this is a big story. It's like it's too much to not talk about. I personally
Hmm.
feel that's just my opinion, but I don't. The people that really don't want to cover him whatsoever, you know, if Volkov brutally knocks him out, you're gonna be plastering that shit all over social media and writing so many stories about it, and doing shit like that. And it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just evil in this, but if you want to see him get knocked out, which many do, maybe you
Hmm.
should give him a little hype and a little attention right now, so people watch the fight, and then we can all relish in it. It's
Hmm.
like the same thing like in the Ben Askren type thing. Like
Yeah.
people loved it so much because even people that didn't know much, people that didn't know shit about fighting found that out because all you need to say, hey, this guy was talking mad shit. Look what happened. And that's what can happen here. It's like, look, hey, this guy's a woman beater. This has this and that. Look what happened to him here. Let's
Yeah.
give him a little press so he can, really fucking take it hard once it happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same situation with Askren. It's gonna blow up when he gets knocked out. It's probably gonna
Mhm.
happen.
If you
I
wanna if you
see
wanna
it.
make an omelet, you gotta break some eggs. I say.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But it's just, man, I was pissed at how it all happened and went down. I was just like, yeah, fucking Mickey Mouse, man. Like nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Commission, coaches. I'm like, come on, fucking so Mickey Mouse sometimes.
MMA is a rinky-dink shit show, Rain, and I know you know that, but I think sometimes you forget it too. I think your
It's just
optimism gets the better of you.
I expect more because it's on a high platform and
Mhm.
still can't like get it together. I'm pretty sure like Dana's not happy with it, but what can you do? Everybody has different rules. Why? Does the NFL have different rule sets depending on the state that they go to? No.
I do want to say that I think inhalers are banned everywhere, so I mean, you
Yeah.
definitely should have known that. But here's another thing for the, I guess the reason I can't, I can sympathize as far as like that's a shitty situation, but I don't feel bad for him. And it's crazy of how tired he was after the fact, even though he'd taken his inhaler. Because for you guys that don't know, I don't think this was the catalyst for it, but this is an old story in boxing. It happened in the 80s. There was a trainer named Panama Lewis. If you know a decent amount about boxing, you probably know who Panama Lewis is. But for those that don't, Panama Lewis was. If Don King is the most corrupt promoter in boxing history, Panama Lewis is the most corrupt and reprehensible trainer in boxing history. A notorious cheater, would help his fighters cheat. A lot of people talk about Aaron Pryor in his fight against, I think his name was Luis Arguello. Sorry for anyone that's a big boxing historian. I'm pretty sure I got those names right, but I don't have them in front of me. But anyway, so guys had this brutal back and war fight, and towards the end, Aaron Pryor, his fighter, was really dead ass tired, and one of the most famous lines in boxing came out of his mouth. He was giving him water, and he told one of his Panama Lewis, the trainer, told one of the other cornermen, "Oh, give me the water." And he gave him a bottle of water, and then he was about to hand it to him, and he says, "No, the other one, the one that I mixed." And a lot of people speculated for years that he had crack or cocaine or something in it, because I guess Aaron Pryor had substance issues, but no. Luis Resto, which is another guy who he trained, said the truth years later because he went through it too. Luis Resto was a guy who they made a documentary about who basically was responsible for the murder of a boxing prospect. Um, he basically beat this guy with plaster of Paris and no stuffing in his gloves. And yeah, in the end of the fight, he'd also put asthma medication in his water bottle, and he said that that's what he thinks also happened to Aaron Pryor. So these guys that were dead ass tired had asthma medication put in their water, and he said it was like a jolt event. It was like he basically just fucking his life bar just went to green. Like, oh, I can do it all. I'm re-energized. So that's what should have happened to Greg Hardy, and he still got fucking tired. So that's what I meant earlier when I said that he should really reconsider fighting because that's fucking worrying, man. That's supposed to make you feel like Superman, and it didn't do much for him.
Oh God. It's
Sorry for the long story, but yeah, that's you guys should look into it. Panama Lewis, despicable piece of shit. But yeah, it's not just MMA people; they've been around forever.
God, Greg Hardy. I can go on and on and on about his career. Both, all parties involved. Just it's all crap. Like the Greg Hardy experiment should end hopefully on November 9th when he faces Volkov and just be done with it. If you got asthma issues, man, and you're getting knocked out, and what is this, his fourth fight?
Yeah, I think he's already fought like 4 times this year. I mean, he basically started this year. I mean, I know he had a contender series fight, but that was it. And then he
Mm-hmm.
had like one other regional promotion fight, and then he came in the UFC.
Yeah, so controversy, yeah, after controversy with each fight, maybe reevaluate what you really want to do. Or at least see who's around you. Make
Yeah.
sure they're making the right decisions for you.
Yeah. So Alexander Volkov, we're all pulling for you, man. If you do this, you will become maybe one of the most beloved fighters in UFC, the current UFC roster.
To build a statue of you.
Yeah. Next up, I usually don't like headlines like this, but it pissed me off, so I figured I'd talk about it. Jon Jones says that he's bored at 205, that he might take 2 years off. I'll just say my quick little thing on this. What a fucking asshole this guy is. He's clearly got contenders ahead of him, and he's just saying, fuck it. I don't know what he was putting that out there of, oh, I want to be a defending champion. I want to make up for lost time. I want to break the record and keep on doing the shit that I want to do. And all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, I'm bored. Maybe this is a marketing ploy. He's saying he wants a super fight or Stipe, or I don't know if he's still trying to go without Adesanya, or I don't know. He's trying to keep his name out there, but I don't know. I don't know if he just doesn't like Dominic Reyes and doesn't think he should fight him, or he's just waiting for Johnny Walker. I don't know what, but he's definitely got contenders ahead of him, and right now may be the time where Jon Jones gets dethroned. You really don't know. These guys are pretty special.
I think he's just really bored. No one's really talking about him. So he needs to say something. Oh, take a 2 year break. Okay, sure.
In a weird
He's
way,
just
he's kind of become like he's kind of become reliable, right? Weird way, like he's just he's gonna keep winning, yeah. Fighting,
he's
his opponents aren't that great, yeah.
yeah. He's not making it exciting either. Talking all this madness with Izzy, going back and forth with that. Even that kind of died down a little.
Thank God, please, just I love Izzy, and I actually like his trash talk, but this whole stuff with John, that fight's never gonna happen, and y'all need to get over. Izzy would need to be basically become Jon Jones. He would need to have like a 12 fight unbeaten streak and defend his belt like 8 times. That's what it should take, but this day and age, yeah, they'll probably try and book that as quick as possible.
Yeah. So I think Jones is just trying to stay relevant. He's bored. Because he's all over the place. I'll go up, I'll go down, I'll fight him, I'll fight that. Oh, never mind. I don't want to do this. Nothing excites me.
I'll tease Tony Ferguson about killing himself.
Oh yeah, he's fighting with Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. Saw that thread the other night.
Yeah, so Jon Jones, I guess I'm giving you more press. I guess I'm giving you what you want, but don't give me the shit that you're bored at 205. You have a job to do, and I'll fucking do it. You've had many jobs, much like Macy Barber. That should go to you, man. You didn't hold up your end of the bargain. You should have at least just kept your nose clean and get a fucking driver, but you couldn't go that. Imagine where your life would have been, Jon Jones, if you just got a driver and didn't do as much cocaine. But what do I know? You're you and I'm me. Next up, Randy Couture had a heart attack earlier today. Uh, Might have been yesterday, but yeah, weird stuff, scary stuff. He's 56. Guess wasn't feeling so good after a workout and went to the hospital just to see what was up, and it turns out he'd had a heart attack. Guess he was in the ICU. He'd been released earlier today, so it looks like he's all fine. But yeah, scary stuff. We could have lost the natural.
That's crazy, man. Good for him for going straight to the hospital.
Yeah, I guess when you have such a long
Jesus.
time in fighting, it's just like, yeah, I was tough enough for long enough in my life. I'm not gonna be scared to be called a pussy because I go to the doctor, you know?
Well, good for him. He's already recovering.
Yeah, it's just surprising, dude. I mean, he's a healthy guy. I know he still takes care of himself. It's not like he quit fighting and stopped taking care of himself. And last I checked, he still looks pretty fantastic. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I started to think, I wonder if it was steroids or something, because large is the heart.
Oh shit. See, I was thinking like, is it the effects of CTE? Because we still are not aware of how it all affects the body and over
Well, if it
time
was
and this and that, and like I was just going everywhere with it because I'm like, damn, he's 56 and he's been an athlete.
that's usually like you look at the WWE wrestlers, they usually die like 50, 55, 60, sometimes as young as 40, and they get heart attacks. It doesn't happen to most people. It's usually because you got something in you. But
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's if that is the case. I hope he's not doing them now because that's not gonna end well for him. But yeah,
It's terrible.
all respect to the man. I hope he's all good. Don't want anything bad to happen to him. Another headline: Sergio Pettis is heading to Bellator. I guess he was a testing free agency not too long ago too, and sounds like he quickly signed with Bellator. What do you think about this one, Rain?
Damn, good for him. More money, obviously.
Do you think
Probably
he'll
like
have?
opportunity too, right? Because he tried. He fought for the belt.
Well, no,
Did he?
not
Was
yet.
he the top? Yeah,
No, he never fought for. He never
not
fought,
the belt, but
and he never fought TJ or nothing. He got
no.
close a few times, but
Yeah.
he beat Benavidez. That's probably his biggest accomplishment. But a lot of people think he didn't, including myself.
So he got close, but nah, not not to the dance. So
Let's
time to
see
move
how.
on.
Yeah, we'll see how it happens here. I guess to be seen. He's still really young. I think it's a good move for him too. But let's see if he can actually have more success. Does it for headlines. Let's get into the matchup segment. And probably the biggest piece of news as far as matchups go. Two fights that were announced for UFC 245, but the big one, Jose Aldo's going down to bantamweight to fight Marlon Moraes. This gives me the fucking willies.
Ugh, why?
Didn't I say something like this after he lost to Volkanovski that I was scared that a loss would do this to him? I'm pretty confident that I said something like that. That like I want him to beat Volkanovski, even though I'm not sure he could, because I think he could beat him, and then have his fight in November, December, and just be like, I'm done. I'll be a big fight in Rio, and that'll be my send off fight, and I'll ride off to the sunset. But if he loses, he's gonna be like, yeah, I can do it. Fuck that. I'm not gonna let this slow me down. I'm gonna come back. Kind of like what DC's doing with Stipe right now. But now he's actually thinking he can become a multiple division champ at what 34 years old or whatever he is.
Wow. I've seen the pictures of him cutting weight. Ew, wow.
People
Okay.
think he looks good.
Really?
I've heard that.
Ah, okay.
People think like, oh, watch out, Cejudo, he's gonna kick your fucking ass. Look at him, he's built, he's fucking shredded. Like, well, you gotta, as much as you hate Cejudo, you gotta look at him. That dude's fucking shredded as shit too, and he's a natural bantamweight slash lightweight. Unlike Aldo, who how many times has he got naked to fucking make featherweight and look like he was about to die?
Yeah.
Now what, 33, 34, he's going to cut down to 135? Yeah, man, good luck.
I don't even know if they said how much he weighed on in that picture, but I would like to know. Because how close is he? And he has to cut more? Yeah, he looks like he needed some water. Like, come on. Go
And
get
they're
you some
gonna
water.
and they're gonna give him a killer like Marlon fucking Moraes, man.
Yeah. Yep. Looking for a win too, so yeah, interesting. That's man, that card's getting stacked.
Yeah, that's definitely the card of the year, easily, easily. And I said it as someone who went to 241. Another fight that was announced. This is a kind of a confusing one, but good in its own way, I guess. Peter Yan's gonna fight Uriah fucking Faber. So props to Uriah for taking on such a goddamn ridiculous fight, but I worry for him.
I don't understand this either.
Well, at least Uriah's not going to a different weight class. I mean, this is his weight class, but he's taking on a fucking murderer.
I know, right? Why? Nobody wants to fight Peter. Aljamain's hurt, right? Sterling's hurt. Yeah, he's still recovering from surgery. He wasn't hurt. He was just having an operation or something then. Sanhagen just fought not too long ago. I think he's out too. So, and
I
then
forgot about Sanhagen. Jesus Christ.
yeah, and then Marlon. Well, he already has a fight book now.
Hmm.
So, yeah, and Peter's been itching for a fight. So, but this one, okay, it's a name. He's been asking for a name.
And
What if it's a surprise again, though? He did it to us last time with Ricky.
yeah, yeah, this is a much tougher test though.
Yeah. Okay.
Much. And the last matchup, Marina Rodriguez is replacing Claudia Gadelha. She's gonna step in to face Cynthia Calvillo at the ESPN 7 card, which is happening in DC, Washington DC. I believe Marina's last fight was against Tisha Torres, which she looked great in. And Calvillo's been looking good herself. Pretty good fight, I think. I think maybe even more interesting than the Gadelha fight.
Yeah, I like this fight too, but I wanted to see this go down.
Well, that's for other reasons for you, but
Well, it should have happened before, and she didn't want to
true,
take the fight.
true.
Claudia didn't want to fight Cynthia. Now here it is again, and then she has to pull out. So it has to happen one day. I want to see it.
See, I think Claudia's probably in a worse position because I don't know how bad. I don't even know why she pulled out, but
I thought it was
mm,
an
oh,
ankle injury or something. She's still nursing an ankle or shit. I
oh,
forgot.
okay.
Yeah.
I think this puts her in a tougher spot because she's most likely gonna have to face the winner. But if Cavillo beats Rodriguez, good name on her. But if Rodriguez, who's a prospect, she beats Calvillo, she's gonna call out Gadelha, and that's gonna be a tough night for Gadelha. I think either way, regardless
Oh
of who
yeah.
wins. But yeah, she may be in some shit soon. So that does it for matchups. That does it for MMA. Let's get into our news story of the week. And the headline is U.S. military retires floppy disk used by nuclear weapon systems. So, for those of you that don't know, and it's kind of terrifying, but yeah, this is actually real. Our military, the U.S. military, has been using gigantic 1970 supercomputers with 8-inch floppy disks as that is our main way that we would have launched nukes, and they just have upgraded it this fucking week. Been using 40-year-old technology for the most powerful weapons on Earth. That is that is America.
They changed it out finally, or they're going to because of security reasons. Like,
Yep.
hello, you realize we have technology all around us? You're worried about that?
Well, I mean, the it just seems convenient for me. Uh, one of the things that they were saying is that since it's so old, it's hard to hack into because it's not really hooked up by an IP address and stuff, which I understand, but that just seems really convenient for me. It's like, no, I think you were just fucking crossing your fingers and just didn't want to upgrade shit. We spent so much money in our fucking military, but we couldn't upgrade this, could we?
Right. Yeah. Insane. With everything that we got going on for years, it's like now you want to retire it.
Well, I had to go sometime. We had to take, Old Yeller out to the fucking Puppy Lake.
Scary, man.
Yeah, and 1970s era IBM Series 1 mainframe computer. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but yeah, if you guys ever want to just Google nuclear weapons, supercomputer, floppy disk, it is a gigantic, looks like a pizza box. Fucking ridiculous.
Shit, what else do we need to retire that the government's still using?
Oh my god, I really don't want to know. That's the one thing I did think once I read this. I'm like, this can't be the only thing. There's got to be so much shit that's outdated. There's probably some branch of the government that's still using fucking Pony Express, you know, for safety reasons.
Pigeons and shit.
Pigeon. Oh, ridiculous. I guess that's a short news story, but it's just something that you guys should probably be made aware of and just realize, especially for people listening to this podcast that live in America. Yeah, this is your country, folks. We do insane shit like that. I guess we're gonna call it a week. Before we go, before we make our say our formal goodbyes, I just want to have a little piece here to talk about something very, very quickly. There's a bill here in California been proposed that I guess is going to take effect in January. It is called AB5, and I want to send a sincere fuck you to Lorena Gonzalez, a California Assemblywoman who was in charge of writing this bill. It's basically going to affect most businesses and people who are 1099 type employees who kind of work at their own pace and like to work on their own hours. They're just going to be super fucked by this. And one of this is freelance writers. They have cut it down to where you can only do 35 submissions of articles per year per publication. I've never been paid for one thing that I've ever written. I'm not saying this for sympathy. I'm saying this is just the way that this shit works. I'm okay with that because I've only put in so much work, and people have put in less work than me and more work than me, and still have gone nowhere. I don't really care. I'm happy with what I've been doing. So as of right now, this does not affect me. But I always thought freelance was going to be something in my future, and I don't know if this is going to get redacted or fixed. I'm just on the outside looking in, but I know there's a lot of people that I know, and people that I even consider friends who are freelance writers who do write in MMA and in other fields. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible for you guys, and I hope this can get arranged, this can get fixed, but I hate this shit that these government officials think that they know better than full-grown adults about what to do with their lives. So, again, Lorena Gonzalez from San Diego, go fuck yourself. But I'm coming off my soapbox. Thank you guys for listening. Keep an eye out for my work from Combat Press. I should have an article shortly after this podcast comes out. You can follow me on Twitter at Juice_MMA. Reen?
Fox with ya, Instagram and Twitter.
And as always, you can follow the show at iFoxWithJuice. We're on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts now. Follow us. We should have a big show coming up next week. It will be our 50th show. And, we did not even talk about that Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal might not be happening. But as of right now, no one has officially said anything. So we'll see what happens in 8-9 days time. Hopefully that fight goes through, and hopefully we'll be having a badass preview of it. But yeah, that is the word as of now. Hopefully that gets better.
It's actually still on.
Yeah, it's still on, so I guess that's why we didn't choose to cover it, because
it's all good. It seems like
Nate Diaz may have burned himself out, but that might be a conversation for a different day. We may just look at this next week and be like, haha, remember when Nate kind of burned himself out?
Yeah, there's an update like from 6 minutes ago. So
of what, that it's still on?
Yeah, because they know what it is. As of now, the fight is still on.
Okay.
It's like the same substance, the same issue that Sean O'Malley had. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. So
it's still on.
So much speculation, so much shit we talked about in this one, but thank you guys again for listening. Keep up with us, and we'll see you next week. Later.
See you.